Alrighty! We got the place to ourselves. Who's up for some how to get away with murder?
It's not as gory or as intense as I've heard people saying, is it?
No worse than Orange is the New Black. Why, you squeamish?
He's worse than TAP-G.
Relax, you limey lima bean. You'll be fine. We've got the studio to ourselves, and I say we make the most of it.
Where are those two anyway?
Don't know, don't care.
Do you know when they'll be back?
An hour or 2 weeks, day after Ramadan. Who cares? Can we just do this already? And play.
Hey, Boo-Boo. Looks like someone's left a picnic basket out for the picking. This may require a plan of cunning cleverness for someone smarter than the average bear.
The ranger isn't gonna like this, Yogi.
What the smoo?
Is that...
Gotta be one of their dumb amateur projects.
I'm telling you, Bon, Wilma and Betty ain't gonna know what hit them. They'll think we're at work, but we'll be yabba-dabba doing it up at the Water Buffalo Lodge.
Right, Fred. We'll rock it up like rock animals, like rock stars.
I'm freaking out a little.
Me too.
Like, keep your eyes open, Scoob. That frightening phantom's bound to be here somewhere. But just to be on the safe side, let's keep an eye out for the kitchen, too.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Hiya, Uncle Scooby! Ta-da-ta-ta-ta-ta! Puppy power!
Run up, rubbity rakes roo.
Oh, come on! Now hold on there, Baba Louie. I'll do all the thinning around here, and don't you forget it, or my name isn't El Kabong.
I'm just saying, Senor Quickstraw, you look more like a cheap Zorro ripoff.
And that's just racist. Someone get the plunger already?
One step ahead of you.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd!
Jumpin' Jupiter.
What are you two doing? You're reenacting old cartoons? Why?
We had a request to do an RIP on the Funtastic World of Hanna-Barbera. The TV thing was TAP-G's idea.
It's called method acting! Why can no one get that?
Because it ceases to be method acting when you're just trying to shoehorn your way into Josie and the Pussycats.
An R.I.P.? And there goes my evening. Hashtag so not cool.
I'm gonna get something to eat. You guys want in?
Oh, love to, but we have about 4 scripts to finish.
Exit stage left.
Fine, whatever. Let's get this over with.
When Universal Studios Florida opened in 1990, there weren't a lot of attractions as a whole, and even stranger, in contrast to their normally older / we're too old for Disney demographic they're usually known for targeting, they had a fair amount of things for kids. E.T. appealed to just about everybody, and the Nickelodeon Studios...
At Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
Was, of course, the network for kids. However, even with renowned characters like King Kong, the Universal Movie Monsters, E.T., Jaws, and the Nicktoons, it wasn't quite enough to capture adults who liked classic cartoons and kids who wanted something a touch more conservative than Rugrats or Ren and Stimpy. Enter Joe and Bill.
These guys are legends in their own right. Right up there with Walt Disney, Chuck Jones, Friz Freleng, Bob Clampett, and Ub Iwerks. The two men, Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera, worked at MGM, creating Tom and Jerry cartoons until they left in 1957, following the closure of its in-house animation studio. Not long after, they founded HB Enterprises, which would become Hanna-Barbera Productions as we now know and love it. Given the fact they were on a ridiculously tiny budget, and on television in the 50s to boot, their animated productions reduced cell usage by providing minimal movement and instead supplying comedy, with snappy writing, funny voices, and character personalities. After the mediocre success of the Rough and Ready series, the men hit it big with their next characters, Huckleberry Hound, Yogi Bear, Quick Draw McGraw, Pixie, Dixie and Mr. Jinx, and Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy. But none of them matched the success of the first primetime animated series in history, The Flintstones, in 1960.
They continued to produce various different animated shows, constantly building on their universe of characters like Top Cat, Magilla Gorilla, Peter Potamus, Adam Ant, Secret Squirrel, and the Jetsons. They capped off their success in the 60s with arguably their most popular property in 1969, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Their popularity with all their franchises made them legends of television through the 70s, including superhero productions like Space Ghost, Harvey Birdman, The Fantastic Four, and the Justice League, the Super Friends. Oh, and my personal favorite, the Theme Park Crusader of Theme Park Crusaders. He is the selfie stick that blocks your view of the fireworks. He is the stroller that rams your ankles. He is Parkwing! Ow! Reese, what the smell, man?
I'm sorry, you didn't stop talking and I panicked.
Anywho, in the 1980s, things took a turn for the worse for Bill and Joe. As stiff competition in the television animation industry rose, Hanna-Barbera found themselves getting squeezed out by the likes of He-Man and Thundercats. The only hit they produced during this decade was The Smurfs, but bigger troubles loomed on the horizon. Their parent company was defaulting. So with Hanna-Barbera's stable of classic characters not yet snatched up by a major theme park, their familiar legacy, and them more likely up for grabs at a low price, Universal was granted access to use them for an attraction.
Of course, it would have been a big missed opportunity to not capitalize on as many of those characters as possible. Not to mention, long before they took to Florida, Bill and Joe had made a handful of crossover specials like Yogi's Ark Lark, Hanna-Barbera's Superstars 10, and Laugh Olympics. These specials wouldn't just use a few of their all-stars, but nearly all of them. And strangely enough, the one character who seemed to bring them all together was the perpetually hungry and the perpetually mischievous Yogi Bear. Going on this, the ride host became Yogi and his sidekick Boo-Boo. Dick Dastardly, the petulant villain from Wacky Races, and his partner in crime Muttley kidnap Elroy Jetson and fly through Bedrock, a spooky castle, and the Jetsons' neighborhood. It should be noted that Bill and Joe aren't exactly big on canon and continuity.
Still, theme park or no, Universal wasn't willing to compromise the quality of the show. So, for the hand-drawn segments, they contracted Sullivan Bluth. Yes, Don Bluth's old studio. And the 3D rendering of the worlds was done by Rhythm and Hughes, the same company that went bankrupt after winning an Oscar for Best Special Effects in Life of Pi.
And there it is, final proof that there is no justice among mortals.
Hanna served as the creative consultant on the ride, but both he and Joe co-starred in the pre-show. It was they who draw Elroy as a demonstration of animation, which causes Dastardly to go into a jealous tirade and steal away the Jetson kid. You know, if they were really trying to hammer in a young, innocent kidnapping with sympathy, why not Pebbles, or Bam Bam, or Scrappy
Well, it's quite possible that this was a marketing move. The ride opened with the park on June 7th, 1990. On July 6th of 1990, Hanna-Barbera released the Jetsons movie into theaters, so...
I knew it! Curses! This can only be the work of... Darganon!
Sure, why not? Anywho, the ride stuck around in Production Central near the park's front entrance for 12 years.
Let me guess, Jabberjaw brought about the Sharknado and became a liability.
Not quite. Even though the characters of Bill and Joel's character stable are as iconic as Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, and Popeye, they weren't really keeping up with Universal's edgy image. Also, Hanna-Barbera was in trouble. Cue the music, Dougal.
Hanna-Barbera's parent company, Turner, folded into Cartoon Network. Universal had park rights to the classic canon, but not Nickelodeon's rival network. Their newest series, Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, and the Powerpuff Girls, were hits on Cartoon Network, but they were unable to utilize them, especially since they were right next door, literally, to Nickelodeon Studios. Bottom line, current cartoons had to be marketed. As if to drive the point home, 2001 saw the death of William Hanna, and as of July of that year, Hanna-Barbera officially dissolved into Warner Bros. Animation completely, and the studio was no more. Joseph Barbera continued work on revivals of Scooby-Doo and Tom and Jerry until his own passing in 2008.
On October 20th, 2002, Yogi and Boo-Boo chased Dick and Muttley for the last time. The following April saw its replacement, Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon Blast. Now, Jimmy Neutron had been a character at Nickelodeon since 1995. He got his own movie in 2001 and his own series in 2002. Nick clearly had a lot of confidence in this new character and fashioned a similar plot ride around him. Unfortunately for them, the aughts weren't as kind to Nickelodeon as the 90s were. The Nicktoons weren't as abundant or popular as their salad days of the early 90s, and just 2 years later, in 2005, the famous Nickelodeon Studios closed down.
Dude, too soon.
In 2011, Jimmy and company joined Yogi and Elroy, where all deceased attractions go, and the following year we got...
Ba 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 na na ba ba.
Them.
Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, which operates to this day.
The Minions? I love those guys!
You and 6.5 billion others, Reese. Shut up! Just the perfect replacement for the legendary Hanna-Barbera and the last vestiges of the Nickelodeon legacy. Tittering, bug-eyed, babbling, jaundiced lozenges. I guess the appeal grew on everybody?
You're trying too hard, Tappers. Allow me. Banana!
Jane, stop this crazy thing.
Let's smurf this. Please stand clear of the doors, por favor. Manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Whoa.
Stage 14. George, Jane, remember to take your scripts. Okay, now that's all for today, guys.
Live on set.
Hey, thanks for the intro, Yogi and Boo-Boo. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Barbera. And I'm Bill Hanna.
Who?
We want to show you how we make cartoons. First, a team of artists creates dozens of different drawings of each character. Hey, look, that's Dick Dastardly.
Again,
You
I ask,
remember that
who?
old villain, Bill? I sure do. Hey, how about drawing Elroy Jetson? Great, it'll be easy. We've been animating the Jetsons since 1962.
Is that all?
No kidding? Has it really been that long?
Yes.
Yeah, it sure has. But it's
Wow,
been all
showing
fun.
tourists in Florida how
It
animation
sure
is done?
has.
What a novel concept! You listening, Disney?
Hiya, Mr. Barbera. Jumping Jupiter. Don't stop there. What about the rest of me?
Hey, don't get ahead of yourself, Elroy.
Okay, Elroy.
Good thing he's not at the bank or you'll be overdrawn.
And don't forget my anti-gravity backpack.
Can't forget that.
Thanks.
Well, you could, you just
You'll
wouldn't
probably
fly.
want this too.
Interesting, a paintbrush with no paint. And it came out in perfect color.
Hey, that's not Hanna-Barbera animation. He's moving all his body parts at once.
Nowadays, cartoons are even being created with computers.
Careful. You don't want to tick off the mighty Pixar gods.
Spaciest. How do you do it, Mr. Hanna?
Ah, the magic of animation. That's my job, Elroy.
Magic of animation.
The computer draws
What
electronically.
a concept.
Take Ol Dick Dastardly spaceship, for example. The computer drew everything you see.
Yeah, let's give a little credit to the people who actually render those things.
Watch you.
Look who crashed our show.
Do you know how sick I am of being called Ol Dick Dastardly?
Well, you are 50 years old, so...
I'm as deliciously wicked and unscrupulous as ever. In fact, you should make me and Mikey the stars of Hanna-Barbera's next project.
The Bowler Heck Guy
Sorry,
project?
Dastardly, but Elroy's next, followed by the Flintstones.
Yeah!
Then Scooby-Doo.
Enough! If I'm not the star of your next project, then no one will be!
Has anyone in the history of ever actually had a fishing rod gun with a plunger?
Apparently he has.
I'm taking Elroy where you find him!
See, this is what you get for messing with the Pixar gods.
Yogi, it's gonna blow. Get out of here. Hey, wait for me.
Wait for me, as I slowly walk away.
Hey look, now it's turning into a late 90s TV kid show.
Inside, everyone. Gotta save Elroy.
Do we have to?
Try it now, Yogi.
Okay, folks, hold on tight.
Mr. DNA, is that you?
Say, Yogi, what's our power source? Hydro-biped antimatter?
Nope, a big old rubber band.
So we're Angry Birds? Ow!
It's a big old dose of plot convenience.
I question the technology of this!
Rat do-gooders on our tail!
Yogi, down!
We're coming, Elroy, little buddy.
This canyon brought to you by Wile E. Coyote.
Rat Muttley, this is all your fault!
Really?
Ow.
We talked about this in therapy. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur.
Oh, my pebbles!
Yogi, keep your eyes on the road!
You know, they always say the good founding of a good ride is a solid bedrock.
Move it, dinosaur brain!
Why are they getting in front of us?
Look out! Look out! Pick Mammoths on parade!
Here they come. Hippity. Hippity.
Whoa, slow down, guys. Where's the fire?
Captain Caveman away!
This should scare you off my tail.
Impossible. I'm not scared of anything.
Except for that.
Where are we, Yogi?
That ain't Jellystone Court.
You're right. I think it's the Haunted Mansion.
Move it! Bad guy coming through!
Jinkies.
Like so bad CGI!
You'll never catch Dustin.
Why isn't this a Halloween Horror Nights house already?
We'll put that idea to bed.
Zoinks! A ghost! Eddie Murphy, no!
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Move it! One
Look out! Casper and the Space Angels!
Has anybody ever seen the city below the Jetsons? Or is it just like a Wally wasteland down there?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cabana Bay Resort. Ladies and gentlemen, Parents of the Year.
never save him! Double drat!
Aw, that hair color really brings out the color in your eyes.
We'll save you! Oh, yeah?
He's heading for Coney Skyland.
Hey, an entrance through a clown's mouth. What a concept!
Going down!
You're ripping off The Simpsons before you ripped off The Simpsons.
Dad, Rosie, do something.
Hang on, son! Closer, Mr. J!
Hurry, Mr. J, before Skynet takes over.
Reach me, Elroy!
Dad, I can't.
Now, Mr. J! Gotcha, Elroy!
Where are the parents? Where are the parents?
Right there.
Oh, there they are. I miss the good old days when cars could fly.
I know, way back in 2015.
We got you surrounded. You're coming with us. Muttley, this is all your fault.
Really? You're still blaming Muttley for this?
Again, I asked,
Mission
how?
accomplished.
Hang on, I've never landed before.
I should think not. You're a wild animal from a national forest who wears a hat for some reason.
I meant to do that.
Sure.
So, folks, thanks for joining in the ride.
Ugh. Well, that was interesting.
I can totally see the appeal, but I can also see why it was selected to be sacrificed.
I think there's still love for these characters, especially from the fans. They could probably still use them for a new attraction, but it may take some creative tooling to keep pace with Universal's overall tone, while still appealing to nostalgic adults anyway. It's a tricky tightrope, but hopefully we'll see more than just Scooby-Doo and Shaggy doing meet and greets.
Maybe we'll see the likes of Fred Flintstone, Yogi Bear, George Jetson, Dick Dastardly, Johnny Bravo, Huckleberry Hound, Hong Kong Phooey, and Space Ghost, but not anytime soon, with Universal's current obsession with Harry Potter and Nintendo, so it may be a while.
Well, they may have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids and that dog.
What kids? What dog?
You know, Jimmy and Carl and Goddard.
Well, I think that about wraps things up. I'm SurferClock.
And I'm Reese.
And I'm Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
And what's the attraction?
While work is your vacation.
Oh, hey, TAP-G, do me a favor. Can you take Dougal out for a walk?
Oh, sure thing. Come on, Dougal. Alright, here you go, buddy. Go ahead and... What the... Hey, Dougal!
That's for leaving me out of your Scooby-Doo joke.